You done now.
And she joins me right now to talk about the new movie Love in Bloom, which premieres August the 27th, of course, on the Great American Family Network. Susie, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. What's going on?
Hey, you know what? I'm just excited to talk to you this morning. The movie, people can see it. What's the reaction been like to Love in Bloom?
Well, it was trending on Twitter, so that is a good sign.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter. That means it's a success. It's a rousing success.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not like, canceled. No, it was definitely like, it was like, Love and Bloom, canceled. No. It was, it was a huge success. And everyone, I mean, honestly, the reviews have been great. People have been loving it. It's been very overwhelming, just, you know, how much people have responded so well to it. I mean, it's like you work so hard in a film and you put your heart and soul into it, and then you hope for the best. You're like, is this just going to be a complete disaster, or are they going to love it? I don't know. Roll the dice. Let's find out.
Well, what was it though about this one? What was it about this one? Because I know you're kind of set up to do a few movies with the Great American Family Network. Why was Love and Bloom the right one though? Like, what about the script did you like? Did you just feel like, man, I can really nail this part, or what was it?
Well, so it turns out I had shot this before I had a four-picture deal. So this is so before I was working with GAC, I had was working. So a friend of mine, she ended up directing it, and she was like, "Hey, I want to put you in this. Like, I want you to be the star." Blah 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 blah. And so she was working with a company in Australia, and so I was hired. And I mean, this is like during the pandemic, and, you know, I had to quarantine for 2 weeks, like the fancy jail where someone's guarding you literally can't leave. Like, you have a guard, like you have police force, like guarding your room for 2 weeks. I mean, it was
typical life, right? I mean, normal.
Yeah.
No big deal.
In Australia. So basically what happened, this was not part of the four-picture deal. It just turns out that a few months later, I was hired to do Much Ado About Christmas, which, you know, was sort of GAC's pilot, like, of their movies. And so, you know, again, I put my heart and soul into it, and it turned out so well. And then that's when I was offered the four-picture deal, but I had already shot this. Like, this was already in the can. We already shot it. And so, like, within, like, a month or two, somehow, Love and Bloom made the rounds and found its way to Bill Abbott, who was the president of GAC, and he saw it and he loved it, and so that's when his company bought it. So technically, it's still not part of the four pictures yet. I will be going back to Australia to shoot one of those, which is very exciting. But yeah, this was sort of like on a whim, and you know, I think the character was somewhat loosely based on me because my friend, director friend, she, you know, wanted to make sure that she was kind of crafting this character. I mean, there's some, you know, differences, but yeah, it was really cool. And, you know, the cast and crew was fantastic in Australia, and I had a really great time.
It's always great to have, I mean, I'm sure you've had people come up to you before and said, hey, I got this idea. I got a script for you. It's just for you. But for this one, for your friend to have this idea, write it kind of with you in mind, and then it come to fruition. Is this kind of the first time that happened to you, or have you had a similar experience?
I think this is the first one that, you know, was somewhat based on me. I mean, she sort of like co-wrote the story, you know, like story by, but then you had the actual writer. But I think like a lot of the things that she pulled, she wanted to make sure that it was like built around the world that was somewhat. And so basically, just there wasn't a whole lot of acting involved. I was just trying to be me. I mean, that's not always the case. Obviously, it's like you're acting, but you are, you know, stepping into a different version of yourself, you know, I think every time. And so this version was, you know, about reclaiming who I am and, you know, finding love for myself. And then, you know, and then by doing so, finding, you know, a great love. And so, yeah, no, it was, I've had, you know, other people write songs about me, like sort of amuse or be inspired that they wrote like a character for their film, but sometimes like it doesn't always, that song doesn't get recorded or that movie doesn't end up getting made. It, doesn't end up getting made. And so for this, this was the first time that it was actually like fully from inception to like actual movie, like you was completely brought to life. So yeah, that was like a really, really cool thing. Cause I think, I've definitely been inspired and write what's closest to me. And, I write what I know and, also as a writer. So yeah, I'm always like pulling like inspiration from my friends and my life. And so yeah, it was awesome. And yeah,
No,
that's all I got.
no, it's great. Well, that's enough. That's plenty. No, but you say you're a writer, and to me that just doesn't surprise me. If anybody does any research on you, I mean, you could have had 7 different career paths, right? Like you could have been a pro tennis player. You could have been a major recording artist. I mean, really, you've kind of done it all. I'm always though fascinated by the connection between athletics and performance on stage and screen, because I definitely think that there is a there's a
correlation.
Yeah, there's a correlation there. Talk to me about how being that tennis star that you were. I mean, you went to Duke University. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, no, I had a full ride, a full tennis scholarship to Duke. We won NCAAs my freshman year, indoor NCAAs. I was ranked 6th in the country. I won some international tournaments. I was going toe to toe with people who ended up being, 30 in the world. I mean, I actually have a win over Maria Sharapova.
Look at that.
I mean, I was 12, she was 8, but you know what? A win's a win as far as I'm concerned. I think there is such a huge correlation because it is such it's such an unstable sort of career, where nothing is guaranteed and you're only good as your, last tennis match. Sort of like you're only good as your last hit, your last song, your last movie, and you're constantly feeling like I might never work again. I mean, there was a sense of like, my life is over if I don't win.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an extraordinary amount of discipline, that you learn. So it's like with acting, I think that, I can just switch it on, which is really great that I can, when I need to be disciplined, like it's like a switch, where sometimes it's like, I'm not naturally like a super disciplined kind of person. I'm kind of a free spirit, like artist. So it's, but I've learned that skill where I know what it takes in order to like prepare for a role, whatever that character is, like eating super healthy, getting into shape, like, when you're carrying a movie, like you're on your feet and you're on set like 14 hours a day. And like, it really, like you're in every shot and every scene. And so it really does take a toll. So, being able to prepare your body for that, which is, I will be filming in about a month or so in Australia again with that same company who did Love and Bloom. So yeah, I have to like go back into like, discipline mode and, no longer like drink alcohol and, no more wine and just eat really healthy and just, working out every day. But then also in addition to that, like the amount of mental toughness that you learn because it is such a volatile, like tennis was pretty volatile and volatile and you beat your body up pretty bad, just on every level. And I think like what I learned from just the mental toughness of, like what you have to go through is very similar in the acting world where it's, it's so extraordinarily tough. And so I think like I've been able to apply that mindset with acting where so many times I feel like, oh, well, I'm never acting again. I guess that was it. I had a good run. And the next thing you know, like you have like 5 different projects fall into your lap and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. So,
right.
There's, and, just how volatile the industry is. It's so crazy. So, I think that I've definitely learned the mental toughness, the discipline, because there's no guarantees, and it's so like, I mean, it's I don't want to say flimsy, but there's sort of this like amount of faith that you have to like have with you, when you step into, because I know that both those industries are the least safe industries you could ever participate in.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
It's like you can get injured and any given moment you can lose everything. Like, acting, it's like you can never work again. Like there's just, so I think I've been able to apply that. There's, and so you can limit the amount of lack of control you have, and you can, by work and also working really, really hard, when push comes to shove, it's like really making sure that like you do work your butt off. And that's definitely like, but also like working smart. I mean, there's so many correlations, and, it definitely, I would say tennis definitely applies, and it prepared me to be in this industry for 100% for sure, and still be somewhat sane.
Man, I mean, look, we're always on the path, right? We don't know what path we're going to eventually go down, but everything that you learn, you're kind of getting these tools that's going to prepare you for that ultimate destiny. And obviously tennis kind of started it for you, but again, like you could have been, a musician. You were on the pages of the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit edition, and then your first acting credit was in one of my favorite shows, Burn Notice. I love Burn Notice.
Oh,
great
yeah.
show. I used to watch it all the time. And then you find yourself in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and like you said, like you could have these projects that fall through or what have you, or the show goes away. But also, I think with streaming, anything's possible at any time. I mean, Marvel seems to always be evolving now that they have the Disney Plus shows. Daredevil's back. I'm sure they're talking about Jessica Jones. What are you looking forward to, though, most? Like, what's the goal that you need to check off? You've worked with so many legends. You've done so many things. You have this new movie out. We have 4 more we're doing in Australia, hopefully. I'm sure it's beautiful out there in Australia. What's next for you? Like, what's the ultimate goal? What have you not done in these several lives that you've led so far that you still want to accomplish?
Well, right now, a couple things that I have on my plate. I am working, I can't really say right now, but I am working with one of the biggest legends right now.
How are you going to do that to me? How are you going to do that to me? How are you going to tell me?
I can't. But hopefully soon. Hopefully if you watch my Instagram, maybe in a short amount of time, maybe I can chat about it. But he's really incredible, and I created a show with my best friend, and so some really amazing stuff is happening with that. But nothing it's moving forward, but it hasn't until there's an actual real announcement. Then I can't I don't want to talk about it. But I'm giving you a little taste. So that's actually something that having that show on HBO or Netflix would be the ultimate dream, like a show that I created, or I'm also acting in and working with some of the most incredible people. And then I'm also writing one of the projects for the 4-picture deal is I'm also writing one, which is it's Notting Hill meets Sweet Home Alabama. So, to be able to write and star and be producing, so you have a lot more creative control over, how you see it and everything. That's also the dream. And then to be working with people that you love, who are, who you deeply respect, and who also you just really enjoy their company. I feel like that is so creating art with the best people, most inspiring people in, the world, and, but who are also good people is the dream.
That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. You're really killing it on all fronts. And again, we're talking about Love and Bloom, which you can watch right now. It was trending on Twitter, not because we were being canceled, because everyone really loved the movie. So appreciate you stopping by this morning. I'm gonna be on the lookout to see what that legendary director you're working with is, and the fact that you name dropped Sweet Home Alabama means we just became best friends. So Susie, I really appreciate you joining us this morning, and I look forward to all the projects you have coming up.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yay.
All right, have a good one.
All right, thanks. You too.